There's a lot of reasons to do some market timing, do some trading, try to maybe get into a sector, get out of a sector. But again, I also think for almost everyone, that should not be something that's done with almost all their money, which we do see some people trying to do that. Right? So don't get blinded by the typical advertising that we see, that how easy it is and everything. And it's all okay if we use some of our money.
Mistake number one, by far, in my opinion, people have way too much money allocated to trading. They're treating the stock market as a trading account. Mistake number one, by far the biggest one, and it leads to all the other problems I said. Point number two, emotions. That leads to not hitting stop losses, and not letting trades come to them. And there's a lot of people that are in the markets and have been in the markets. Some people are brand new. Diversification is the only way to ultimately grow money at a steadier level. Because if you have a drawdown of 20% or 10% as opposed to a drawdown of 40 or 50%, which again is very normal for a lot of people, particularly hold equities, that makes a huge difference over time.
There's a lot of reasons to do some market timing, do some trading, try to maybe get into a sector, get out of a sector. But again, I also think for almost everyone, that should not be something that's done with almost all their money, which we do see some people trying to do that. Right? So don't get blinded by the typical advertising that we see, that how easy it is and everything. and it's all okay if we use some of our money.
Mistake number one, by far, in my opinion, people have way too much money allocated to trading. They're treating the stock market as a trading account. Mistake number one, by far the biggest one, and it leads to all the other problems I said. Point number two, emotions. That leads to not hitting stop losses, and not letting trades come to them. And there's a lot of people that are in the markets and have been in the markets. Some people are brand new. Diversification is the only way to ultimately grow money at a steadier level. Because if you have a drawdown of 20% or 10% as opposed to a drawdown of 40 or 50%, which again is very normal for a lot of people that particularly hold equities, that makes a huge difference over time.
There's a lot of reasons to do some market timing, do some trading, try to maybe get into a sector, get out of a sector. But again, I also think for almost everyone, that should not be something that's done with almost all their money, which we do see some people trying to do that. Right? So don't get blinded by the typical advertising that we see, that how easy it is and everything. And it's all okay if we use some of our money.
Mistake number one, by far, in my opinion, people have way too much money allocated to trading. They're treating the stock market as a trading account. Mistake number one, by far the biggest one, and it leads to all the other problems I said. Point number two, emotions. That leads to not hitting stop losses, and not letting trades come to them. And there's a lot of people that are in the markets and have been in the markets. Some people are brand new. Diversification is the only way to ultimately grow money at a steadier level. Because if you have a drawdown of 20% or 10% as opposed to a drawdown of 40 or 50%, which again is very normal for a lot of people that particularly hold equities, that makes a huge difference over time.
there's a lot of reasons to do some market timing, do some trading, try to maybe get into a sector, get out of a sector. But again, I also think for almost everyone, that should not be something that's done with almost all their money, which we do see some people trying to do that. So don't get blinded by the typical advertising that we see, that how easy it is and everything. And it's all okay if we use some of our money.
Hello, everybody. This is Jeanette Sims doing a quick audio check, getting my screen set up to share. See if y'all can see it. Getting all my boxes checked in all the right places. Y'all pop an answer for me in the I'm not sure if the questions or the chat box is what's available right now. Let's
Hey, Jeanette.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Let's just see which one they answer in. Trying to get all my boxes lined up so I don't screw it up this time. This thing just gets tricky. All right, looks like it's in chat. Mr. Capazola, thank you. I appreciate you jumping in there. Here they come now, ladies and gentlemen. They're lining up to help me out. Webinar chat is where you can answer. That's where you're going to put all your comments and questions for today. We're looking for a really killer interactive session, and we're thankful for that y'all are here with us this morning. We've got some great new information for you. If you've been with us this past week as we talk about what it takes to get out of that rut you're in, quit staying stuck, how to change stuff. Looks like we've got a lot of people in here who are here for the first time, Serge. We got some people that have shown up for the first time. I love it. Our percentage on, are you currently in other training programs? Looks like we've got 38% of our attendees today are in other houses too. And this is interesting, Serge. What type of trader do you consider yourself to be? 86% dialing in as swing.
Interesting.
29% said a little bit of three. Okay, yeah. So that's all great information. You guys should have seen the poll pop up for you a couple minutes ago. If you didn't see it, well, that's the old tech gremlins for you. Sorry about that. But if you haven't answered,
it was there. It was there. It's cool. It's a cool feature.
You're welcome. Over here testing out all my technology. Yep. Yeah. All right. So today we're going to talk about bridging the gap and why most traders stay stuck. We welcome you here. We've got the risk disclaimer up. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Helps if you put your webinar in full screen mode so you can see charts when we show them. Use that questions box that you're in right now to ask questions, answer questions, be interactive with us. It's a big day for us to be here with you, and we know we don't take it lightly that you chose us today. And so the risk is the biggest part of this whole thing we're going to talk about. Okay. And the risk versus the reward is probably what's screwing you up in your trading, if I had to guess, right? Because a lot of times we only think about how much money we're going to make. We don't think about how much risk we have in the trade and why we should or should not maybe be in that trade. And so we always say, don't trade with your milk money. Don't trade with your kids' college tuition. Certainly don't trade with your mortgage money because your partner or spouse probably won't take that lightly. All right. So risk, we've got that out of the way. Now, by the end of the session, you'll know exactly what's holding traders back. And we know this for a fact, right? For more consistent results and how to overcome it. We get to see it every day, all day. And that's where we're coming from in this training. SERGE Berger, my great friend, my colleague, my partner in crime in this business life we call trading. This guy's been trading for 25 plus years. We're kind of on the same grid time-wise. He founded this company, Steady Trader. He's trained thousands of members. You're going to see some technology that he's created today that he uses and that our members use that I personally use. He's got 2 kids, 2 beautiful girls, loves to snowboard, almost became professional one time. We can talk about that later. All right, and there's me. There's my office. Desk looked a lot cleaner that day. I've trained a bunch of traders too. So I've been in the game since 2001. My first trade was in the futures market in the S&P E-mini, and that was back when you had to call the broker. Then you had to call them back to get your fill. Then you had to call them back to put in your stop. And it was a pain in the ass back then. So what we have today is like light years, right? It's like going to the moon now compared to what we had to do back in the day. I'm a grandma, entrepreneur, and got a couple dogs. My mom lives with me. She likes to interrupt. So hopefully she won't just pop in here and ask me what I want for breakfast or lunch or dinner. That's what she does. Okay, so the reason that traders stay stuck and don't see the results they're looking for, it is not really what you think. All right, it's just not. So we're going to talk about what it is that we know that it is. Traders fall into this, like, it's a trap. They say, I can't get there if I had one more of this, one more indicator, one more strategy, one more little bit of information that's going to take me over the top. And you know who you are, right? You guys, you know that this is just the way it is, right? Put a yes for me. I want you guys, get in there with me. Put a yes in there if this is you, any of this is you, or this is all of you. Bought a course, still felt stuck. Got a newsletter. Even though that newsletter gave you a shit ton of results that was proof that you could make money with it, you still didn't get any you didn't make any profit from it. You downloaded a software, can't get the consistency that the person that sold you the software can get. These are all things, right? These are all normal things. And look, this is me. So I raise my right hand and say, yes, people, this is me. I've been there. I've done that. I've got a lot of books on my shelf and indicators on my machine to prove it. And what we're here today is to tell you that that's not necessary. Oh my gosh, they're pouring in. Okay. Yes. Serge is an amazing dude. Somebody told me I look great. All right. Appreciate y'all. Okay. So there's a lot of yeses in there. So you guys are admitting it. You've been there. You've done that. It is so common for retail traders to test a lot of waters before they learn to swim. And once you learn to swim, you throw all that other stuff away. The fact that those things didn't work for you, but that you were still searching, that you are here today, look, it tells Serge that you're still serious about trading and investing. You just ain't got there yet, right? Or maybe you got there, but you're looking for another sweet spot to master. So speaking of taking serious your trading and investing, because it is like a business, right? If you're not treating it like a business, then it's just gambling. Let me bring Serge on, and I'm going to give him the mic. We're going to be here today, fricking and fracking with y'all. I'm going to let him share some insight on the problems he gets to see way more than I do, because he's in the grind with his members every day, and how he's been able to help them, what the big problems are, and then how to overcome. Serge, are you there, buddy? I see you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just going to quickly see
I'm going to
if
make
I
you
can
the host,
Yep.
and then I'm going to let you take over the screen.
Perfect. Okay, you guys are going to see my screen here in just a split second here, like right now. There's a tiny bit of an echo thing, Jeanette. So maybe put yourself on mute when we're done talking, but it's hardly noticeable. Anyway, cool. Okay, so I think what Jeanette is saying here is absolutely correct. So, and I agree 100% with everything that she said here. We are certainly capable of making those types of common mistakes while looking for something that works for us. So, but after I think 25 years, what I found is that the real problem is not information or tools or alerts. I think the real information is the real problem is that we actually have very simply it's an implementation problem. God, the slides are zipping through here today. Here, it's an implementation problem. Now, we do still need a tool, right? And that is important. So it's not like we can't trade or invest without any tool at all. But it has to be a tool that we can use with repeatability every day. That's simple enough. That doesn't confuse us, because there's so much stuff out there that it makes it very simple to be confused. So you need a tool, but beyond that, it's an implementation problem. So one thing that I can show you, because like right now we're in a momentum-driven market, and a momentum-driven market is very different than your classical sort of lackluster market where things move a bit slower, because we have this automated trading that's happening and AI and everything, and it makes stuff much faster, but it also provides a crazy ton of opportunity. If you guys have seen some of the rallies and some of the sell-offs that we've had, the markets move very fast these days. And that's an opportunity. So, and I can I can give you guys, whoever wants access to this indicator, you can put it on your trading view as well at the end of our session here. So the way we measure momentum, it's basically with a simple ribbon at the bottom of the chart. Um, we can give you guys access to it on TradingView for those that want to later on. And basically, when there's new bullish momentum, it gives us these green dots, and you can see how in this case the stock shot higher, or in this case too, massive 42% rally. Both, doesn't matter whether this is on a swing trading chart or on a day trading chart. It doesn't, the timing doesn't matter. It adjusts to the time frame. And the same thing would be on the downside as well. So it would give us a red ribbon at the bottom as soon as there's momentum to the downside. I can show you guys, like, for example, this here's the NASDAQ 100 just a couple days ago. You can see the ribbon changed from green to red, and the NASDAQ 100 sold off like 3.7% in like a matter of a half an hour or something. Remember the other day? Or even on the daily charts, right? Like this here, for example, is in the daily chart. So we've had a big sell-off in Apple over the past few weeks, and you can see as soon as the ribbon turned red, the stock ended up dropping, very quickly, 5-6%. So that's what's called momentum. Now, again, you need a tool that actually works, that's repeatable. So we'll be happy to accommodate those that want this later on. What I want to go through now, though, is the four types of personalities that we tend to see, where that's keeping people from kind of reaching their goals. Number one is what we call the hesitant trader, and you guys might fit one or multiple of these type of people. So please let us know where you fit in. Just type in, make it a bit interactive here. So the first person first type of person we see is actually, I think we start with pre-retiree. Yeah. So we start with the pre-retiree. So these are all real people, right? That we've interviewed, so to speak. They came to us. So this person told us that she's been working for years and finally getting close to retirement. She's using our tools, but the clock is ticking. So she has a time issue, and she wants to kind of reach her goals pretty quickly. So type in PR, pre-retiree, if you kind of close to the finish line, but you need to close the gap, right, a little bit quicker. So that's one type of person I got. The other one is a hesitant trader. So a number of weeks ago, one of our members told us that he attends almost all of our trainings. He loves it. He learns stuff. He uses the tool. He watches the tools being used. But then he told us that he wants to start trading again, but he's been burned so many times over the past years that he just can't get himself to pull the trigger anymore. So wants to trade but can't pull the trigger is the hesitant trader. If you can relate to that, type in an H for hesitant trader into the box, right? And again, you might fit multiples of these categories. Another one is the time-starved professional, time-starved. So this is someone who came to us and said they have the tools, they like to use it, but his work schedule doesn't allow the time. So his goal is to become professional within, I think he said, 12 months or so. He needs the right environment to succeed that fits his lifestyle right now. So if you're struggling to find time, type in an X into the chat box. So this is the person that has the tools, just doesn't have the time. And then lastly, and this may apply to a lot of people here, this is the overwhelmed trader. So this person says he's overwhelmed and confused, unsure which tools he has, doesn't know how to use them together. So it's got the whole arsenal, but he needs more hand-holding, more of a roadmap and guidance, and really someone to kind of hold his feet to the fire. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and confused, type in O into the chat box. So this person has everything, but he can't seem to make it work together. So these are the four types that we've identified in our community, and they aren't where they want to be because they are doing everything on their own without sort of assistance, if you will. So what they are missing for the most part, again, they need a repeatable tool, which again, we can make available for you later. But moreover, to even use that tool, and this is where the missing link is, they need structure. They really do. They need repetition, and they need guidance, and they need feedback, and they need accountability. They just do. It's the accountability, and all of that only happens in the proper environment. And it's a little bit like if you look at a seed, right? A seed only grows to its full potential if it's planted in the proper soil,
and has the right environment. In the markets, it's very similar. If you can have all the information, a great tool, even good instincts, but without the right environment, structure, and guidance, growth becomes very challenging. We could also take this to like sports. Let's say you have a great set of clubs, golf clubs, that helps, but unless you properly know how to swing a club, which comes with doing it every day, it's going to be very difficult to reach that sort of consistency. So the bottom line is a seed can become a tree on its own because it's all there. The biology is there, but when it's planted in a thriving garden and surrounded by the right environment, it grows to its absolute potential. And that's really what we're seeing. And if I think back to, my beginning journey at JP Morgan, which is still considered one of the world's prestigious trading floors, what I really took away, what I learned wasn't necessarily a strategy, it was the environment. So let me say that again, you can really soak it in. It was not a strategy, it was the environment. And so when you're sitting on one of these trading floors, what kind of happens is, you're exposed to hundreds of different setups over and over again, and your eyes ultimately get trained, to kind of what's happening, and you start recognizing patterns. I'm not talking about just technical patterns, just the whole environment. And so it becomes muscle memory over time. And, in my situation, I was very fortunate to have a bunch of managing directors above me. It's senior traders that were telling me what I was missing in real time, what to do. And they were holding me accountable, right? I mean, I remember one day, one of my managing directors flew in from another city where he was located at, and he, gave me some pretty strict things I had to accomplish by, it was like a month or so out. And, so that accountability is really important. And of course the repetition. If you don't have a repeatable process, it's very, very difficult to make money. So that's where my confidence personally came from being inside the right environment every day, week, month, and witnessing a process on one of the most prestigious investment banks in the world. And I think the biggest lesson for me, again, it wasn't the strategy, it was the environment. I want to just repeat that. So if I fast forward to today, we took that same environment and we tested it with everyday traders. Jeanette, if she has time, can tell you the story of the turtle traders, which is a real story as well. How a couple of guys managing money, big guys, they took everyday people and taught them how to trade, and a lot of them became very big hedge fund managers. So to us, the proof is in the data, because we did a couple of live trade-a-thons where we would live trade with people for an entire month, or we would do these multi-day boot camps where we do something similar, or of course all of our live trading and we do across our different products we have. And I think the takeaway was very, very clear. Yet, and this is the funny thing, we thought that people just needed more tools, more indicators, more trading. Now, they need a good tool. And I will say there's a lot of crappy tools out there. Again, I will be happy to make our trend ruler available to you guys afterwards. But we were wrong in the end. Yes, you need a good tool and you can have ours, but we were really wrong, because I think what people really actually need is they need more confidence, and that is the belief that could actually, lead you to become a repeatable executor of trades without emotions getting to you. More repetition, more coaching, and again, as I said before, more accountability. So, members are seeing results within days of being in a live environment. When you are given a tool, right? So let's say I were to give you an amazing driver that someone on TV told you is going to make you split the fairway every time, like I told Jeanette, 300 yards down the middle. Unless you're repeatedly using that and taught specifically a good swing, that driver is useless. And that's the thing. It's the same thing in the trading industry here. A lot of people believe they just need another shiny object. And yes, you do need a good tool, and we'll give you one, but you need the process. Let me take a quick sip of water. Give me a quick yes if that makes sense. Because I'm telling you, this is so crucial. It took me a long time to understand where the missing link was. And this goes both from my JP Morgan days to the hedge fund days to the investment portfolio management days, which is I remain on today to now. It's a huge difference between being able to have a tool and ultimately actually, being really kind of, I don't want to say forced, but, really using it every day and taught how to use it every day. So a live environment can lead to a very, very different outcome. And that is what the right environment will do for you, is the repeatability. So imagine 90 days from today,
Imagine that you know exactly not only what to trade, but also when to trade and why to trade, and maybe most importantly, when not to trade. But that an indicator alone is not going to do that for you, right? You need to be taught repeatedly when that is the case. So our goal is always, my goal is when I do the best in trading and investing, I seamlessly flow in and out of markets. I was telling this someone the other day, I think it might have been even yesterday. I was telling someone that every once in a while, and it happens fortunately more often now over the past 10, 15 years, but I get into these zones. If you guys remember that movie, what was it called F1 with Pitt? Great movie. He gets into the zone, right? And he just stuff just happens, right? Because he's sticking to his plan. And it's really the same thing in trading, but you can't get into the zone unless you know how to get into the zone, unless you're super comfortable using whatever tool you're using repeatedly, right? And that is also where you stop chasing. So there's no more random stuff, right? Cutting corners or whatever. It's just a process. And to us, this is really, really important to have that repeatable process. And so essentially what happens over the course of 90 days, so right now we're here in late June, by the time we're through July, August, and through September, following this process, and we've proven this, can completely change not only the way you trade the markets and invest, but also the way you approach it. Just you're going to be much more calm because you have so much confidence in the process. That is a very, very few people ever reach that. I believe, and I've seen it, that people can reach this in 90 days. They can't reach it in a week or a week and a half, but over 90 days, that is absolutely achievable if you actually, put your mind to it. So, just quickly back to sort of the tool that we're using here for this. It's based on momentum. And a lot of people have this shiny object syndrome where they buy 15 different indicators. They put them on a chart. They don't even know what's what anymore. They never learn how to use any of them at all, properly. And so when we talk about momentum is a real thing that happens every single day in the markets, right? And we make it super simple. The math behind it is a bit more complex, but you don't have to understand the math. You just have to understand the signal. So we added a ribbon at the bottom of the chart. And the ribbon at the bottom of the chart, when it goes green, you could imagine it's a buy signal. When it goes red, it's a sell signal. So in this case, you can see the S&P 500. This was just a couple of months ago. You can see when it turned to green. And then, of course, the S&P rallied like crazy for 2 months. And we could show you 1,000 of these. I'll show you guys more live stuff or current stuff in a minute. But same thing in AMD. Look at the signal went from a red to green, and the stock rallied 60%. Now, and then of course you can do options trade on top of that to leverage even more if you want to, or futures. But the point is you need a signal and you have to use it. I will tell you right now, and this is, I don't know if I had I had to do meditation on this. This was last year, actually, after the tariff tantrum. All my signals, screamingly buy signals in May of last year, after we had a massive, beautiful sell-off and got sell signals in April of last year, and I didn't nearly buy as much as I should. I should have bought with both hands. That's a lack of that. That is when I didn't stick to my own process, right? And so I know, and I actually went back and I put myself into a kibbutz almost for 90 days, and got myself to refocus, because it's unacceptable for me to do that. Since I built the momentum tools myself, or gold miners, right? Look at this, goes from red, so bearish momentum to bullish momentum. As soon as the ribbon hits, rallies 40%, and then at some point it turns back into bearish momentum, which just means get out, right? Or even go short. Or gold. Yeah, here's gold miners, another one. You can see another example. Here's a quantum computing stock. Turns into a green ribbon and rallies 200%, and then you get a short signal after. We have to do is follow the ribbon. So that's a repeatable process. Most people don't have something that is repeatable, and they don't actually give it enough time. So I want to just quickly pass it back to Jeanette here for a few minutes, so she can kind of give her own experience with having recently taught one of her young proteges about how to use all this, which is a fantastic story. So stick around here, folks. I'm gonna be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back, and I'll show you guys more about the momentum indicator, which will give anyone that wants to. I think we're giving 25 people access to it here today. who want to have that indicator afterwards as well.
Okay, let's see. I don't have the share button for some reason, even though I'm the host. Already over here.
Might be at the bottom if
They
you there's
hid
like
they hid
under
it
more
from me
tools.
under more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it happens.
All set to go.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, this is a great story, and I love telling it. If you've already heard it, you're going to hear some more today because this has been a great summer for me. And thank you, Serge, for turning it back over to me. All right, so before we talk about the kid, right? I keep calling him a freshman, but he's a sophomore now. Let me talk about process and tools, and I call it old me versus new me because this is what changed for me personally. Been here for 25 years, so don't forget. Like the market is not fresh for me, right? I've been there, done that. School of Hard Knocks it a bunch of times. But I was trained as a tape reader, so I never used indicators or tech properly to get repeatable results, and therefore I did not have repeatable results until I added a couple of Surge's tools to my setups. So, like I said, I've been trading futures for 25 plus years now, but I rarely dabbled in stocks. I have some long-term positions in silver and in gold. Thank you to Surge in crypto. But he introduced me to a way to trade stocks that finally gave me that confidence to use the power to swing and position trade. So I'm just going to put up a couple of stocks that I've traded in the past year. And are they all winners? Nope. But actually, I tell this all the time, that Nike trade would have been a winner, and it was a winner. But I let my greed kick in. I took my hands, let the tool to the wind, did it my own way. Greed kicked in, didn't do what the process told me to do, and bada bing, lost 12% on a trade that should have paid me handsomely. Okay, so back to the freshman, sophomore. His name is Wes, and he is a local kid in town. I live in Mobile, Alabama, and he goes to Auburn University. So he called me up. He said, "My mom says you trade. I want to learn. Can I come hang out?" I was like, "I have a bunch of stuff I can make you do. I'll teach you to trade, but I'm gonna get you to do some other stuff too. And we're gonna run a little experiment. I call it the Wes experiment." And so I put him in the micro NASDAQ. And if you don't know what that is, you can Google it. It's just the micro version of the mini NASDAQ futures. And he's been using one of Surge's indicators plus the process we taught him all summer. All right, so on the screen, and this all goes with what Serge was talking about a minute ago, was showing you the trend ruler and momentum. You can see that the entry, long or short, is going to be either a red or a green. It's a triangle. And then it has profits and stops on it. We're not going to go deep into that right now about what all that looks like. But I'm going to talk you through a couple of examples, and then I'm going to reveal what we found to be the exact best time of day to trade the micros. Anybody in here trading futures or understand what micros are? These are going to be day trades we're about to talk about. Now, disclaimer: Serge is not all about day trading, right? I'm talking OG swing or long term. He's about making money based on opportunity. And in 2025, I got super pumped because he raised the flag that the market was going to give us so much more day trading opportunity that we 100% could not ignore it. And I'm a day trader at heart, and so that's my jam. So I was like, let's go. Put me in, coach. So I'm going to talk you through the study and what we did just trading the micro NASDAQ, just trading it in one single time frame per day. And so I'm going to start with this one. Okay, May 14th, entry was a buy. I put an orange arrow there to show you basically where the trigger was. The entry on that trade paid 98 points. It went on to pay actually significantly more, but with our money management, it took us out of the trade. The targets were tapped. We stepped aside. 98 was plenty that day, right? And this one actually happened at 10:30 in the morning Eastern. All right, so here's the next one. And like I said, this indicator spits these green triangles out on the chart to show you where that move is triggered, buy, higher or short down. So it gives you the targets and the stops. This was May 20th in the micros, 80 points. Now this was actually a lunchtime signal. So they don't all have to happen in that morning time of day. for those of you who can't trade that morning time of day. Here's another one, May 25th. Nice little run, 150 points. We were in that trade for 3 hours. That's a long time for me as a day trader, but we had to let the process work. It was very painful. As you know, if you've been in a trade that you think is going to be like a 10-minute trade and it turns out to be a 3-hour trade. Here's a trade we took at the end of May 28th. This was the biggest trade that Wes had put up in that time frame, in that month of sitting here with me. $602, 17 minutes. And we were trading 4 micros that day. So this one didn't just run in our favor. Same as the other trade. Like, it beat us up at several key areas, and it made us work for it mentally. But that's the great thing about the process and having the stats that are the proof that if you just be patient and wait, if you get stopped out, you already know what the risk is right before you enter the trade. But if you wait for the reward, this is one of those days. We were patient, we waited, we did the process. And in this particular trade, wins more than it doesn't. Spits these trades out all throughout the day. But it's like anything else, guys. Like, you have to master the time of day or the time frame that works for you. And the opportunities are there. Like, if you just got to know where to look. So now I'm just giving you like a highlight overview. This is a spreadsheet I'm making him keep up with. And he's looking for data, right? And Serge is going to talk about how we use AI in a little bit with the data, and that I urge you to stick around for that. That's going to be a powerful segment for you. But I've taught the kid a little bit about how to use AI and how to track what he's doing. And remember, 19-year-old kid going into his sophomore year at Auburn, he used an indicator of surges, day traded the micro NASDAQ for all of May and all of June. Now I'm going to show you those results in a second. May had a 66.7% win rate. We had 5 losers, right? But it only took a handful of wins to wipe out those losses because the process and the indicator told us where we were wrong. It did not let us hang out until, we ended up with our head in a trash can. Y'all know what I'm talking about when you're in that trade and you're like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. And, you walk away with a big loss because you didn't get out when you were supposed to get out. I mean, it's interesting to me that, like, training and teaching, like, I've been teaching Wes all summer. Now he's teaching a buddy of his. A buddy of his put up like $8,000 gain in the month of June. And then one trade, he got that money wiped out in one trade because he was trying to put on 2 micros and he put on 20 by accident. And instead of dumping the trade, he stayed in it and it kicked his ass. It wiped all that money out. He called Wes up. He's like, I don't know what happened. And Wes was like, look, Jeanette taught me. The process is when you're in the trade and you're wrong, you're wrong immediately. You're on the wrong side by accident or you're too heavily in by accident. Just call it. Get out. And if he had done that, kid probably would have made a nice paycheck this month. But instead, trash can, right? So in June, this is higher now. It says 69.3% is our win rate. It's over 70 now. But 16 trading days, 11 signals. So we don't trade every day, right? You don't have to trade every day. That's a cool thing. 8 wins, 3 losses. Same story as May. The losses wiped out or were wiped out by just a couple of the big gains. And this is all about the fact that, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, anybody can do it. Now, I said earlier that I was going to give you the best time of day. We've only been talking about one simple trade, y'all. There's so many that Serge will train you on. This time of day was 9:15 a.m. Eastern to 10:15 a.m. Eastern. All of the examples I just showed you were made in that time frame, except for one, which was the lunchtime trade. And that's crazy, right? To think that there's such a powerful time of day out there that exists. And I'm going to say this over and over. Anyone can do it. Now, I've been going on and on about me and then Wes, but I want to know about you. I want you to tell me what you do for a living. This is a critical part for us to understand. We find that we have a lot of people that are retired or are pre-retired, and they are moving heavily into learning to trade to supplement income or to build wealth. It doesn't matter where you are in the journey, right? It doesn't matter if you're a 19-year-old sophomore in college. The point is you got to dig in and get a process that is repeatable. And so you guys posted in there for me. Here's just some members and some results, right? 30% using Serge's indicator, 7 profitable trades in a row. Jennifer, 61 years young, I say it that way. 214% gain off 28 trades. So anybody can do it, y'all. Anybody can do it. And I know when you're posting who you are, you're going to tell me that, right? Here's some more. $1,850 in one day trading NDX. 22% on UNG. I could go on and on and on and on. I'm going to go through a handful of trades for y'all real quick, just to show you some numbers that we put up. Random dates, time is important, right? The time in the trade. This is the proof that it's not just a day trade. It's not just a swing trade. It's not just long-term investing. It is all of that. And no matter where you are, like earlier, 68%, I don't know what the number is now on the survey, but 68% of y'all were swing traders. I mean, get out of the way. Look at these. 40% on B&O, 13%, 0.6% on TAN, 12.7% on KMI. So it's 1 month long. This CPER trade, 6 months, give or take, 20%. I was in this particular trade, RGTI, May 27th. Y'all, this trade's still active. You have to look at this and go, Serge is onto something here, right? He's 100% onto something. If we can take moves like this and be able to translate that information to our members, then I can't say it again and again and again. I did it. He's done it with thousands of traders. Serge has. I did it with a kid that you talk about. I don't know if I told you this, Serge, but the other day the kid freaks out. He jumps up. He says, I got to go take a walk. And I'm thinking, oh shit, he blew our account up,
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, man, whatever, you do you. He leaves, he comes back. I can see him out in front of my house walking around pacing, like talking to himself. Comes back inside and I'm like, how much did we lose? He said, oh, we didn't lose anything. I just didn't take the trade. But the trade would have paid like, $1,400. And I'm pissed about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Wes, calm down, dude. Like that's okay. If once you don't take the trade, stop looking at it. Like move on, because looking at it,
but you
back,
see, Jeanette, you bring up a really good point, right? Sorry for interjecting. That's the whole.
good.
That's exactly what we're saying. He has a great tool, and again, we'll be happy to give you the guys this tool. But I'm telling you right now, someone has to hold your feet to the fire. Like, I mean, it's incredible what can happen if you get your mindset. What we want to get into. We want to get into this groove, right? This.
Right.
I forgot what the fictional character is in F1 that Brad Pitt plays, but that kind of zone, right? There's other movies where you can get that same kind of, the zone. The basketball players get into the zone. I mean, everyone, it's all sports athletes. So that's the whole point. And Wes probably would have taken that trade had he had someone hold his feet to the fire and pay attention, right?
Right. If he had said, "Hey, the setup's there," if I had been able to listen when he's questioning, I'd be like, "Setup's there." Blah, 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 blah. And he's trying to talk himself into it. I'm like, don't ask me. You don't have to ask me because you know what to do. Don't ask me. Just do it.
That's right.
And I taught him to stop asking. And now he doesn't ask. He'll sit over there. He'll trade. He'll get up, wave bye. I'll be on the phone. He'll leave. And then he'll text me and drop his spreadsheet and tell me what we did. And he's learning to, the point here is we're talking about 90 days in the life. The point here is that this kid came in here like begging for guidance, begging for confidence. And I didn't have to do a whole lot, but give him the tool and the process. And it took a minute, but then I think it was by the early June, he had stopped asking me for help. And that's powerful to me. Like, it's like anybody can do it. All right. So Serge, I'm going to get you to talk a little bit about what happens. You have this morning topic morning call that you do. And I want you to talk a little bit about that with our people. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the AI. And then we're going to get into some Q&A.
Yeah, and then we'll get back to the indicator. I want to show people literally just yesterday, like how it's just incredible, like really, really incredible, like some of these moves that are happening. And we'll show you guys how this picks it up, right? So this is fully 100% all true and accurate. We'll show you guys. So I'm a big believer in AI. I don't know how many people here use AI to kind of automate or at least simplify your trading. So one of the things that we do in our morning call is, I'll tell you about this later. I have a hedge fund morning call with a bunch of hedge funds around the world, New York, London, Zurich, Palm Beach, and one guy's in Hong Kong sometimes. And we have this morning call that I bring to our morning call. And we do about 30 minutes a morning, and Monday through Thursday. And we go through all the setups we're looking at that day, in good part using the indicator that we'll gladly give you guys access to today. To learn that one repeatable process. I'm not going to ask this question. You guys can rhetorically answer it to yourself. How many of you have more than one indicator that you're using and you're actually not really an expert yet at using it. A lot of stuff works. There's a lot of crap out there, right? I mean, there really is a lot of crap, but plenty of stuff does work if you actually gave it the true attention that it requires. The problem is you're not giving it attention, right? So you need a good tool, a repeatable one, preferably a simple one to use, and then you actually need the repeatability. And so one of the things that we're doing a lot with right now with our members as well, not just giving them setups and the repeatability, we're also talking a lot about how to hedge your account, right? How to make sure you keep your gains when the market were to go down. Most people in here have probably never traded a bear market. We will at some point have a bear market again. I don't know when that is. It might happen soon. It may happen long. I don't know when, right? It will happen. And you won't know how to deal with that. So those are a couple of additional topics we weave in throughout the months there as well. So that's those are a couple of additional things that we are doing. If you can go to,
we skip forward.
Yeah, maybe go to slide 92 quickly so people can see this. So just as a small, brief idea, one way to hedge an account or hedge your positions, and this is part of the stuff that we do in the morning call. We do a 30-minute morning call together. It's like a webinar, and you guys can ask questions. And one simple way of hedging is just buying some puts, right, in various ETFs and things like that. Buying an inverse ETF, for example, or even something called dynamic cash reserves, which sounds way fancier than it is. Wall Street does a really good job of coming up with the complex names. In fact, as this quick side story, back in the great financial crisis, there was a Dutch bank called ABN AMRO. They've gone under since. And they came up with a product, I never told you this, Jeanette, called a CDO squared, which is a collateralized debt obligation, basically a bunch of debt wrapped in other debt. And long story short, I'm not kidding, the product was literally called Hat-Trick, like and they spelled it HAT. They spelled it in like a funny way.
Like hat trick.
Hat trick. Exactly. Like they were literally that obnoxiously cocky to call that product a hat trick, like purposely. I know, because I knew the guy that used to work for them. Then of course the whole bank blew up. Anyway, so that's another story. But do you want me to go through do you want to go on the next slides, or where do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we see when you look at the market through a repeatable process, it's nice to have a tool, but again, if you don't know how to use it together, it really becomes pretty useless. So we're excited to introduce you to something called Income Accelerator. And what we do in Income Accelerator is we take you through that morning routine live. We go live. We give you swing trading setups. A majority of you here seem to be swing traders. We do at least one day trade as well. And we're heavily reliant upon the indicator that again, you guys can have access to here today as well. We do this 4 days a week, so Monday through Thursday. And it starts at 9:30 Eastern, which is 6:30 Pacific. Early birds, if you're somewhere else, you can, I'm sure, do the math. It's 8:30 Central, for example, what Jeanette is. And one of the big things that I like to do is I like to come into the market, prepared with everything already for you guys. I'll talk about the morning hedge fund call that I have. That's literally like, these are some really bright minds that I've been very fortunate to work with my whole life around. They're located around the world. We have our morning call. I'll bring all that information. And they, by the way, are using this indicator as well. So that's just as a bit of an FYI. So it's really about watching, but really in the end, it comes down to learning, and then you execute, and then review if you have a trade that you would like us to review, and then you repeat. And those are the sort of the three phases. So we take you to the three phases over those 90 days. And the first sort of month is building you confidence. So every morning you come to that call. If you can't make it, don't worry, it'll be recorded. And then in the second stage, or second phase, as we call it, you get much more consistency, and ultimately you'll be able to do this blindly. And you'll see after 90 days, it makes such a big difference. And I think that's what your protege Wes is going through, right? And so that's really a big deal. The confidence, you will see it. The confidence comes pretty quickly, but it's ultimately the consistency that really further kind of solidifies your confidence. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I'll pass it quickly back to you, Jeanette. I know I was moving a bit fast there.
Okay. All right. So So y'all, this is all about community, right? And everybody's got to do the work to get the results. So I want y'all to think about it like this. Think about it like if you were at the gym. You don't get strong from one workout. You get stronger by showing up consistently and doing the exercises. You have a coach, right? They help you avoid mistakes, stay accountable, not just stand in the mirror and look cool and take selfies or whatever people do at the gym these days. And that if you don't keep going and doing the reps, then you're going to lose all the work that you did, right? That's how trading works. You got to be able to get consistent. You got to be there every day. You got to do the work. You got to grind. And so what Surge did, like we have done shorter term events, our trade-a-thons, our boot camps and stuff. But what we found is that in those time frames, we really were able to help people just catapult their success. That was where all of the best have emerged from that took those trainings. And so Serge said, look, I'm willing to do it for 90 days. I'm gonna get in with them every day for 90 days. I'm going to take them through the entire process. I'm not just going to walk away. We're not just going to give them 30 days. We're going to give them 90 days, 3 solid months, 12 weeks, total immersion. We're only charging $497 for this. And I think Serge said the other day, it's like $5 a day. And that's ridiculous, actually, when I think about how much time he's devoting to the training and how much time as a team we are supporting you. $497 still. All the stuff together is like $5,300, but we cut it down to give you a chance to come in and understand the process, see the tools that Surge uses, watch the trade setups. There's a lot more than just like what you're seeing on the screen right now. So I'm gonna go through some of it. Surge, if you wanna, or I can just keep going. Right? He showed you the trend ruler earlier. That's a bonus for everybody that joins today. This is a brand new bonus we added, and it's going to be yours immediately.
Yeah, and I'll show you guys more on this in just a minute. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that you can get access to it.
Yep. The morning hedge fund call. Look, we've been talking about that. This is like nobody has this. I don't know anybody else in our industry that has the access that Serge has to big money in the world. And he gets on a call with them, and then he takes that and translates it and what it really means to the retail trader. And I'm just gonna say it again. I don't know anybody else that does what we do that has that insane access. He covered this earlier. He's going to be talking about using AI, account hedging. A big deal that we're moving into is bear market tactics, preparing for a bear market. We're going to trade this wave as long as we can ride it. When that pony throws us off, we're going to be ready for the bear market. And I don't think anybody else is talking about that as well. New thing, Serge, the mock portfolio.
Yeah. So one of the things that we like to do is we in these 90 days, right? And it really takes, I could sit here right now and say, you know what, in 1 week, I'm going to make you a squillionaire. That would be a complete lie. It would be non-compliant, and it's just a bunch of BS. It takes a bit of time. So right now we're at the end of June. I think by the time we're through July, August, and through a good part of September, that's roughly 90 days. I think you'll be in a completely different spot. You'll be an absolute expert at how to use our momentum indicator. And I'll give you a deep dive on that in a few minutes. You'll just be way more confident. It doesn't matter what the market throws at you. I'm telling you right now, being data dependent, like taking the signal when there's a signal, as opposed to saying, oh, there's a war, there's a this, there's that, there's comments, there's tweets. Like at the end of the day, that is what throws people off. And if you can learn to kind of be a bit more like this, like not in life necessarily, but like in trading, that actually is important. That goes such a long way. And with the mock portfolio, what we do is we can give you at least one. We might have two. Those are like, and I have to use the word mock because it's just compliant. Like I can't give you advice, right? But there's a couple of portfolios that you guys will receive over time, over those 90 days, that you can consider if you feel they're appropriate for you to implement on your investment portfolios. That's in addition to all the trading stuff we do, right? So there are serious changes happening right now in the markets. Asset allocation is changing on the big institutional investors. That is going to require, we believe, a change in the way assets are allocated. So right now, if you're sitting on an IRA account and it's allocated like that they all are, you're going to have a serious problem if the S&P stops going higher. Like it's big problem. Again, I can't give you advice, but I can give you the education through a mock portfolio that will be very helpful for you as well.
All right, Serge, we also have a what we call our member success call. So after you sign up, urge you to take advantage of this. You're going to get an email with a way to schedule a call with one of our client success members, and they're going to take you through what we call the trading action plan. And they're going to get a bunch of data from you, hear your story, and they're going to spit out a report to you that you maybe think you know what's wrong with you in your trading, but this thing is really a huge eye opener. I did it with the kid. We figured out really quick what his problem was, and it's a very simple call to do. But I mean, if you're joining or you already joined, please go book that call. I cannot say it enough. It is worth the 15 minutes or the 30 minutes, however long you want to stay on the phone with our people. That action plan, it's a very basic questionnaire that they're going to go through with you, but the data you get is insane. It's insane. I haven't said this link out loud, but I'm going to say it real quick. Thesteadytrader.com/inside. That is the link that you need to go to. I've posted it for you in the webinar chat, and you can write it down, screenshot it, whatever. This 15-minute AI routine, this is a research report that Serge recently dropped, and I don't want you guys to be afraid of AI or pissed off about what the world is saying about AI and energy and power and water and whatever. Like, think about AI is not going anywhere. Just like when everybody said buy Bitcoin, crypto's not going anywhere, and some people did it and got rich, and some people didn't. AI is not going anywhere. They're going to figure out what's going on with the power. That's a whole Elon Musk story I'll tell later. But don't worry about that right now. What I want you to focus on, not the negative, it's the positive. And this 15-minute AI routine that he's going to give you will help you kickstart your day, get data that you need. It is, I mean, I've
Yeah, so these are some AI
top
prompts,
down.
right? So this comes straight from the hedge fund call as well that I do in the morning. These are things we've been using internally in our group of global hedge funds, and we give that's just one little nugget. It's a big one, but but we give you that. So those are some prompts you can use yourself. Put them in your chat GPTs or whatever you're using every morning or whatever several times a week, and get some really critical information on that. So yeah, but Jenna, I want to start going back into the indicator here in a second.
All right, let me
I
put
don't know if
this
you,
up. So,
yep.
y'all, we say it all the time. 90 days of trial and error could cost you tens of thousands of dollars out there in the world by yourself. We've seen it happen, not just money, but time. But being able to do this repeatable process, that's the most valuable thing you can do for yourself. I probably need to get Wes on here and do an interview with him. So this
Yeah.
Accelerator Room Live, Serge is doing this to help everybody seal their financial future, seal what's going to happen in the market, and prepare yourself for it. Not be hanging around in a gold trade that just flipped on you. You know, all the things that it takes to really be a truly successful, repeatable, consistent in the market trader, investor, whatever you consider yourself. So there's the top down information of what you're going to get. We're only taking 25 traders today. We've been slowly opening the doors to this thing because there's going to be a max point where we stop. Serge is dedicated to this 90-day run with you guys. And if you sign up today, your first day starts June 30th. That is Monday morning at 9:30 Eastern. As soon as you sign up today, though, you're going to get access to the back end where you can go and watch some previous recordings that are already posted in there, sort of get the lay of the land of how it works. You'll get your bonuses. The trend ruler indicator, the mock portfolio, which will kick off on July 1st. You can pay by credit card or PayPal. When you go to the order form, there's a button on there to click PayPal if you want, or you can call. We've got people that are, that'll answer the phone for you. 561-769-3025. Write it down. Serge is going to take the screen in a minute, and all this information is going to be gone because he's going to be sharing charts. So take a picture with your phone, or just write down that link, and you'll be able to go and grab your spot. And while he talks, I'm going to go get caught up on how many registrants we have for today, people that are signing up to join us on Monday morning to get all this fabulous stuff, and then we'll come back and recap and do the Q&A. Serge, I'm going to give you the screen.
Yep. Thank you. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. How many of you, let me ask you, how many of you were told to sell your gold a while ago? I'm just going to show you one little nugget. So if you're using the trend ruler indicator, which you'll get access to, I think it's, what do we say, 25 people that we're going to give access to today with
Yep.
the accelerator. We're going to make sure you get it added to your TradingView. So the reason we're using TradingView.com because you can create a free account there. It's web based, so you don't have to pay a subscription for that. It's a wonderful tool. I'm not here advertising for them. Like I have no relationship with them, but it's a wonderful tool to use a charting platform. In fact, it's the world's #1 charting platform right now from the statistics we're coming across. But here, for example, is what the trend ruler does. And again, this is why it's so important to have that repeatability, that 90-day program. It's nice to know the indicator gave you a sell signal, and it did. But by the way, we have a 2-day rule. So if you look at this closely, you can see we have a 2-day rule. So by day 3, which was the 18th of May, this became a valid short or sell, right? You could have bought puts, you could have sold you gold, whatever. And so since the 18th of May, gold is now down. It was down even more, but let's say from Friday's close, down about 10, almost 11%, right? Could have bought a put option, could have got rid of my gold, but that's a momentum indicator. Now, again, and by the way, you get lifetime access to this. So I should say this. So the indicator is years to keep. It's lifetime access. You will never pay another penny for that. The 90-day course stops after 90 days, right? That's $4.97. But the indicator is yours to keep for 90 days, for forever, right? That's not going anywhere. We're going to give you access to it. We're going to switch you on as soon as you are aboard. Again, we're taking 25 people. Now, what about intraday? Did anyone see some of the moves, like just literally yesterday, for example? Yesterday was Friday. This is Moderna. And we'll teach you how to find this stuff. It's not hard to find. In fact, it's super simple. This is a 5-minute chart. I know most people here seem to be swing traded, but just for argument's sake, this is a day trade. Okay, we have a two bar or two day rule, but whether it's day trading or swing trading, this is a day trade. Okay, this happened yesterday, Friday, the 25th of June. So you wait 2 bars. So the beginning of the next bar, this becomes available. This becomes valid, and Moderna rallied like 10, 12%, and it ultimately turned into a sell again, right down here. So I'm just zoom in a little bit more. Okay, that's it. So the indicator you get lifetime access to. In 90 days, who in here thinks, and Jeanette, I'd love to hear what the answers are. Who in here thinks that within 90 days, do you think you could become an expert at this indicator in 90 days if you show up to our morning call Monday through Thursday, even if you show up twice a week? Who thinks you could? Type in me. This is for day trading and swing trading. It doesn't matter whether you're using it on a day trading chart, like I'm showing here Moderna, or using it on the swing trading chart, right? If you guys have some examples, like Marvell. Someone before typed in, and I think on YouTube they said they wanted to use Marvell. Let's have a look at Marvell. Let's see if this would have done anything for us. So the ticker symbol is MRVL.
Me, definitely. Yes. Okay.
Okay, good. So here's Marvell. This is one of those big tech stocks. You guys all probably heard about it. So this is and we have the 2-bar rule that I will reiterate to you guys in a second. So you can see that on about March 10th, the ribbon had solidly for 2 days turned to green. Okay. So far, the stock is still up 217%. 217. Could have bought a call option, made probably 1,000%. I'm not guaranteeing you this. I'm just telling you what it factually did. Now, some of you guys that are more quantitatively oriented and are sitting there with binoculars right now, or magnifying glasses, you'll see that little red thing. Oh, Serge, this doesn't work. What did I just say? We have a 2-bar rule. This was 1 bar, 1 day. We ignore that, right? The trend, the momentum didn't change. This is momentum. So in 90 days, you can absolutely become an absolute expert at this tool. Okay. All right. So that's what this is all about. And again, the indicator you get lifetime access to. So if you guys have tickers you want to look at, let us know. Microsoft. Have a look at Microsoft. All right. All right. So Microsoft turned from a bullish momentum to bearish momentum on the big early, on June 9th, and it's now down about 9%. It was down as much as 15%. It bounced a bit on Friday. If it would have bought a put option, you can do the math. 9% move, you buy a put option, that's at least a 2 to 4x, right? So that's a 30, 40% gain and something like that. This indicator is specifically available for TradingView, specifically for TradingView, and it's because everyone can access TradingView. It doesn't cost anything for the platform, right? We have a pro version of this as well that if you want to get access to, you can reach out to the team. You can give them a call or send them an email. The phone number is on your screen right there. What about LLY? All right, so this is Lilly. Eli Lilly is a company. You guys probably, hopefully, have heard it before. So let's see. This thing was up 7% just on Friday alone. Jesus. Okay. All right, let's follow the ribbon. Do you guys think you can follow a ribbon? Who can follow a ribbon? Like red goes to green.
Me.
Do you think you will get yourself to buy something? And that's a question though, right? It's an honest question. Do you think you will? You're saying yes right now because the indicator is right there. I'm telling you, you need someone to hold your feet to the fire. That's why we're doing the 90-day immersion, the live processing, the live morning call, because you won't do it. We know this, and this is not a derogatory comment. We know you won't do it. I know. What did I just say before? And I'll show you guys in a minute with the trade I missed. It's pathetic. May of last year, when the tariff tantrum flipped, like I'm kicking myself daily, twice probably, for not having taken that trade. I mean, I ended up taking it, but way too late. But here's Lilly, right? So it goes from bearish momentum to bullish momentum. So it became valid by the 1st of May. So far, the stock is up 27%. So again, with an option, you 3-4x that. And we'll do options as well. We'll teach you how to use it with options and stuff as well. So let me take this and show you, for example, if anyone wants to see more intraday examples or whatever, just give me some tickers. I'll be happy to see if I can look at it. Let me just show you quickly the let's take the NASDAQ 100. Let's take the S&P just because that's kind of a standard index. So let me show you what I didn't do. Okay, this is painful, but it's factual. All right, this is the daily chart of the S&P 500 index. Can you guys all see it? The daily chart, meaning this is a chart that each bar is 1 day. So for most of you guys said before, you swing traders, that's what this is. So first of all, the tariff tantrum. Okay, so we went from, remember we had that 1 bar rule? So we went from a bullish momentum, which is there, into bearish momentum. And that was good for about 9-ish% on the downside. I took that trade on my trading account that I have had a really big leap, very big leap. What I didn't do is actually stick to my own rules and buy the S&P once it was back into a green ribbon. And then the S&P rallied about 24%. Like I could probably have at least tripled my account in that. And I didn't freaking do it. Remember we talked about the 2-bar rule? These are a couple of single bars here. We ignore those. Why? Because it's just noise. Right? As long as the color doesn't change for at least 2 bars, which is 2 days on the swing trading chart, and 5 on the intraday. I like to trade in 5-minute charts for those of you guys that like the swing trade. Okay. So do you guys feel comfortable now what we're doing here? And can you see the reason why we want to use momentum? Right. What about Micron Technology? Okay, so let's go with Micron Technology. That's MU ticker symbol, right? All right, let's have a look at it. So this stock, it's been a thing, right? So you can see that we had bearish momentum, right? So that's basically a short, and that flipped to a bullish momentum in 1-2 bars. Okay, so that would have been by the 10th of April, this became a buy. The stock is now up 170%. If I would have bought a call option, which I didn't, right? We just bought some stock. I think you guys could all see. Like it takes sometimes, guys, like it's one trade that can make the year. Like that, I mean, last year, I didn't have an amazing year. It was a good year. But didn't have an amazing year for the very simple reason that I didn't actually stick to my own signal. And I'll be completely honest with you in sort of in a selfish way. So the one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I myself need something to hold my feet to the fire. Now we do the morning call, right, with our hedge fund group every morning. That's a little bit what it looks like, although it's virtual. And so I take that call with all the information that I get every morning. So it's 10 companies. Some of them are family offices that manage many, many billions of dollars. Hedge funds, a couple of investment banking trading desks, and those kind of outfits. They're located between Zurich and London, New York, Palm Beach. One guy's in Hong Kong, and I think one person's also in Connecticut all the time. So I take all that information in the morning, and then I bring that into the morning call as well that we have, and then we repeatedly use our process here. What about? Let me just maybe go through a couple more examples. People are asking, what about OKLO? Okay, I know Jeanette likes that stock, or at least
Yes,
you've
I
mentioned it
love
before.
that stock paid me handsomely this
Yeah.
year.
So
Thank
this is an interesting name. So this is one of those nuclear names, right? And it's a bit volatile. So look at the most recent one. So we've gone from a bullish momentum move to a bearish momentum move, which became valid on the beginning of the day of Friday, June 5th. And so far, the stock is down 22%. You know who didn't tell you to sell or short OKLO? What about the talking heads that are pumping, the chart pumpers, I call them, on TV? They didn't tell you that. What they told you probably is to buy more because nuclear reactors and nuclear ones are the next thing. And they might be. The problem is the stock just dropped 22%. There was opportunity, right? So there's a huge difference between narratives and what the market actually does, right? Another way of saying that is the economy is not the stock market. Stock market is not the economy, right? And so that's it. So if you guys want access to in this lifetime access to the indicator, all you have to do is join us in our 9A immersion morning call, and I think you guys will have an amazing time. What are some of the other questions, Jeanette, that we want to, of course, address?
Okay, let's get to those. But first, I want to welcome some of our new members. Welcome to the Accelerator Live Room, which also comes with all that other cool stuff we've been talking about. Margaret, Tim, Reed, Simon, Rick, Brian, Ken, Bob, Kent, Derek, and Lee. Welcome to the program. Serge, one of the questions I see on the board is, what time frames are you using on your day trading charts?
Okay, so on the day trading charts, 5-minute bars. Yeah, so like I actually just, someone asked about Datadog, which is one of those stocks. It's a chart chaser name. So what about, does anyone think here they could have made money? This is literally yesterday. So the market opened right here, the cash market. So, the bell. So that signal was already valid as soon as the market opened. It then rallied something like 4% right off the bat. Buy a call option, happy days. I use 5-minute bars intraday. 5-minute bars.
What time of day are you usually scanning for new setups?
I do it early in the morning. So when I come into the morning call, it's ready for you guys to go through. You can do it the night before for sure. I like to do it in the morning. I'm a morning person, and yeah, that's kind of why I do that.
Serge, on your swing trades, do you think there is an average time that you're actually in the trade, or is it all over the place?
The swing trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few months. I mean, let's just go back to the S&P 500. Like I'm here to tell you, if all I would have done, and I mean all I would have done, is listen to our momentum indicator. I can show you this right now. This is just now. This is the SPY. Okay. So some of these trades last a few days, some of them last a few weeks, or in this case, months. So look at this. So again, who thinks they can follow a ribbon? I know Jeanette can. Right? So look at this. Ribbon changes from red to green. This is the SPY ETF. Could have bought a call option at this point or whatever features. So the signal became valid the morning of the 8th of April. The SPY then rallied 9%. That might not seem like a lot to you guys, but that's the S&P 500, folks. 9% in 40 days. 40 trading days, 57 actual calendar days. That's insane, right?
Serge, this is a great question. Lucian says, nice indicator, but how are you finding the trades? In parentheses, stocks.
That's why we're doing the morning call for 90 days. In 90
Show
days,
you the process of how you get to pick the right trade. Yeah. Correct?
That 100%. 100%. That's exactly correct. It's super simple, by the way. I'm not here to scare you. By the way, did anyone see On Semiconductor took it on the chin yesterday? AON. Who heard about that? Give me a yes if you heard that yesterday. ON Semi ON. You know, one of those favorite names that everyone owns 9 times in their trading account. Well, here's what happened. Okay, ribbon. Jeanette, let's do this. It's a new slogan. Follow the ribbon. I'm gonna ask AI to make me a song. Follow the ribbon.
The ribbon.
You know, like follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah,
So
I know all about that yellow brick road.
So here we go. So this is on semiconductor, right? 2-bar rule. So after the second bar, it becomes on the third bar, it becomes valid. Let me show you guys this. I'm going to zoom in a bit more. So now you can see the individual 5-minute bars. This is a day trade. I know this is not interesting for everyone, but so by the time the market opened, the signal was way valid. Okay, so let me zoom out a bit more so I can show you this. Sorry, I need more desktop space for this thing. Here we go. Okay. So here we are. All right. So this is yesterday. So signal becomes valid right at the open. The stock ends up dropping 9%. And by the time at the end of the day, we had a new buy signal. So this would have made 7.6% intraday. Just being short ON, it would have bought a put option or whatever. Like, just follow the ribbon, right? Yeah. TST stands for the steady trader.
All right. James is saying, do we also get the swing indicator that Jeanette was using, and can we also use it for day
That's
trading?
a pro version, yeah.
It is the pro version, but that ribbon, that trend ruler that we're giving you as part of this program is going to be very helpful in understanding when those triggers are coming, or once they happen, how long they last. That's really what it comes down to. Like that trend ruler it's amazing.
Some of us look at Rigetti, which you know.
Oh, Rigetti.
Right? So Rigetti is one of those quantum computing stocks. Okay, so watch this. Remember the two-bar rule? Okay, so we had a green ribbon right there. So that turned into a red ribbon around, I think the beginning of June 9th. So far, the stock is at about 15%. So Frank, hopefully that helps you. So it's bearish right now. And it was since then.
All right. We've got a question from YouTube. Dan is asking, do you trade, I think it was gold futures? Do you have GC setups to trade
of course
other futures like the E-mini?
Absolutely. 100%. All the time. You can use whatever indicator. So here, let's look at gold. All right. You want gold futures or whatever? So let me you want the daily charts or the intraday? Let's do swing trades just because that's what we talked about before. All right. So here's gold futures. All right. Green ribbon goes to red ribbon. So by the time we came to the morning of 18th of May, gold futures were short. Well, they were down as much as 13% almost. They're now down about 10%. Do you think he could have made money? YouTube question person? I'd say so.
I'm sure you think
I'd
so.
say so. Yeah. So what we're going to do in the 90-day thing, and the reason we're doing, because Jeanette and I have done this before, and we would do like a 3-day program, or we do like a multi-week. It's not enough. If you really, because what happens is after a few weeks, you're going to go back to your old ways. And we've seen it over and over again. But the people who really stick, that's what I think is 90 days. You come every morning. We walk. Not only do we live trading, give you all the ideas and everything from the hedge fund morning call. You get access to the trend ruler for life, and you'll be an absolute expert at this and many other things. You're going to be a different trader in 90 days. I'm sure of it.
It's all right, Serge. Craig saying, do you also go over option setups in your live room?
Yes, of course. So every trade we give has an options version of it. So if you wanted to look at whatever, this one here, we could have given you an options idea, right? Or like, let's go to the SPY again, right? Sorry, I have to go back to this.
All right, another question from YouTube. You mentioned a chat room. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, 1 second. So let's say, for example, the S&P 500, like it did, factually not making this up, gave us a new momentum buy signal on the 8th or 9th of April. We'll definitely give you an options way of doing that. So we have something called a chat. It's like a chat room. You don't have to be in there, but it's what we do is like all the ideas we talk about in the morning, we will also put them in the chat room. One of them is like a back and forth, like it's banter. That's why it's called Buzz and Banter. The other one's like a monologue where I post in trades, and then we have a research one as well. that I post in research and stuff like that. But also all the charts and things we talk about, all the trades in the actual morning call, in the morning webinar, if you will, they also get deposited in that in those chat rooms. I know sometimes chat rooms is a bit of a
Yeah, I think that's super helpful for people that if they have a day job or they're not able to listen in live, they have to go watch the recording later on in the day. It's helpful to because you can run that room, that chat room on your phone or a tablet or all this really works either way, but that's just a way to sort of get a highlight of what's going on in the day with the trades and not have to be part of some big, oh, what we're not trying to do here is create some place where you're there all day and you're stuck and um, I've seen this happen to so many traders where they get into a trade room and they're there all day long. It's
oh
not
god.
necessary. Like we're keeping this to a very succinct time frame every single morning, Monday through Thursday, and then you can follow along in the online chat room too throughout the day. But our goal is to keep it tight, give you what you need, send you on your way.
Yep.
All right, Serge, it
100%.
looks like we have 6 spots left. Um, question: how do you manage your protective stops? STOP.
We usually use a trailing stop. In the case of the momentum indicator, it's built in. It's when the ribbon changes. It's as simple as that. That's what's so beautiful about this thing. So if you can, as long as you can follow a green or a red to green, green to red ribbon, um, you're all set. For trend following stuff, we also do longer term trades with trend following, which will give you all those ideas and all that stuff in our morning calls over those 90 days. There we use a trailing stop, and we'll teach you about that stuff as well. So we do. So the morning webinar, it's about 30 minutes. We try not to go too much beyond that. So it's, when I say a room, it's a webinar room. It's like this, right? And I go through live ideas. We'll do a live trade, a day trade. We'll do a swing trade. We'll give you investment ideas. I bring you everything from the morning call, right? So that's this. So I have a morning call with our hedge fund and trading floor group these are just people that I've worked with throughout my life over the past 26 years in the business. And it's just wonderful, the insight that I get. And I'm able to pitch in there as well. So we try to do about half an hour. We try not to go too far because like Jeanette says, it gets mundane. What you want is you want to learn the process, get some ideas, and move on to your day. Come back the next morning. If there's something really important, we'll go longer. We do special topics as well. Every other week or so. 1 week we'll focus a bit more on AI prompts. 1 week we'll focus on how to protect your portfolio with options or inverse ETFs. We'll talk about how to trade a bear market. I think that's no one has any idea anymore about that. So yeah.
All right, Serge, I just opened my first trading account. Will these live scanning sessions help even if I'm a beginner?
Yes, it doesn't matter what level of experience you have. What's important
Actually,
is
better that you're not tainted by the rest of the stuff.
No, for sure. And in fact, actually, it's a really good point, Jeanette. And I'll tell you this. This is a true story, guys. I don't know if you guys know about this. So, I was fortunate enough to be accepted one of those investment banking training programs. What ends up happening is when you go to these investment banking training programs, you kind of really put through the ringer. It's a bit it's like a fraternity a bit. It's actually quite cruel. Like for a while, I had to. I'm not kidding. This was 4 years ago. So they probably don't do it anymore. But they gave us like sleeping bag to sleep under the desk, and because you have to work on these decks and whatever. Anyway, so it's quite grueling. But I never understood why they wouldn't hire like more experienced people for some of those things. And one of the managing directors, Kurt, amazing guy. You get to meet some serious characters in this business. They called him Dirty Curdy. It just gets some crazy people. But what he taught me or told me about that is exactly what Jeanette says. They don't actually want people to come in with like their own, kind of weird ideas about markets. They want you to come in with an open mind and to be taught their way, right? So kind of with a a clean plate.
Love it. I mean, I think back to when I first got started, and back then we didn't even really have like a paper trading account or once the tech came on board, they just hadn't done that yet. It was just all live, and I was making mistakes left and right on clicking the wrong buttons and thinking I was putting in a stop and really I was putting in a limit, and all these tech mistakes that created losses for me. And now there's so much opportunity for a new person to get it right before they, put their money on the line. And I highly recommend that you make sure you understand the tech before you put a true trade up.
Here's the NASDAQ 100. I've got, you guys can ignore those green boxes. They're air pockets. Those are unfilled gaps. I just made a video for our clients actually just now. They'll get it one Monday morning. So there's a lot of air pockets right now on the NASDAQ 100. But what's more important here is that you know when the ribbon turned. The ribbon turned from bearish to bullish on April 7th. Okay, right there. That should be a green arrow actually.
What's the cues you got up?
That's a cues. All right. So from that point on, let's say it started here just to be generous. The NASDAQ rallied as much as 23 freaking percent. And ultimately, the ribbon went back to bearish when it was still up 15%. Okay. I can show you semiconductors. You guys, the point is it's all there. Like this is not made up. You guys get lifetime access to the indicator once you join a program. Yeah. Frank is asking, can you look at a QQQ call or put option? That doesn't make, with all due respect, that doesn't really make any sense, Frank, because the Qs, the options move based on the underlying asset. Okay. I understand, I was growing up on options, so I get the Greeks, but you need the underlying dictates the options, right? So that's just my view. 497 one time. So 497 is one, you get, so let's go through this again. 497, you get lifetime access to the indicator. The indicator is yours to keep. It's 497, you'll keep that. It's a 90-day program. So for 90 days, so by the end of September, by the time the temperatures get cooler, maybe not in Alabama, but for others here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to get cooler. I can't wait for it. I just saw on Instagram Reel, it's something like 12 weekends to autumn, which gets me excited. But so by the time we get into middle to end of September, I guarantee you're going to be a pro at this, at using this indicator, and you can have a whole different perspective on the markets. So 497, is it one time? Yes, it's one time. If it'll auto renew and give you another 9 days, but you'll get a reminder to stop it. But it's 497, and the indicator is the easier. You'll never get charged again for that, and you'll get notified if you when it's time to renew, and then you just say cancel right after 9 days. If you want the 9 days right now. I think you'll love it so much you might stay, but it's 90 days right now is the point. That makes sense, Abe? Good question. I don't know how many spots are left, but it's 25. I think Jeanette's at 6. I don't know where it is right now, but if you guys want to check, just grab it before we shut down the webinar here. Otherwise, webinar will shut down. Right? Simple as that.
Serge, I have to work in the mornings. Do you record these?
Yeah, they get recorded.
Yep, they get recorded and they're already in the like if you sign up right now, you should be able to log right in and go ahead and watch some of the recent days in the membership area, and that's where you're also going to get all your bonuses and your tools.
Yep, exactly. If you pay with PayPal, I think they allow you to pay this like in some sort of payment way, James. But that's with PayPal. So when you go to the link, it's thesteadytrader.com/inside. You just click the PayPal option, and I think they allow you to pay like with increments. That's through PayPal though, right? It's not us financing it. That's how most people do it if they want to do something like that. Cool. So we're excited for Monday. Yeah, that's all I got. I hope it was helpful, folks. It's great to be here, Jeanette.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And thanks for everybody who joined us. Guys, we're down to 3 spots that are going to get this trend ruler. And so once those 3 spots are gone, that comes off the table, price comes off the table. You have to go to thesteadytrader.com/inside to secure your spot. And we appreciate everybody joining us today here live in the room and live on YouTube. You guys have a great day, great week in the markets, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, folks. See you guys soon.